Hello, beautiful people. Today I'm here to share with you something a little different for me, which is the movies, TV shows, documentaries that are coming to streaming the rest of fall, so the rest of October into November. I do a lot of reading, yes, but I also do a lot of consuming. And these are some shows, entertainment that are right up my alley. I thought you might like them as well. So on October 16th, we have The Perfect Neighbor. This is a documentary on Netflix. This takes place in Florida, and it is about a neighborly dispute that just escalates and escalates and escalates to the point of, I think there's a death. What I'm looking forward to with this one is that it's a lot of footage from like police body cameras, and I don't know if there's ring cameras involved, but there's a lot of like point of view shots in this. And then obviously they interview a bunch of people who are involved in this series of odd disputes. On October 21st, also on Netflix, we have a documentary series. This is The Monster of Florence. It follows the case of Il Monstro di Firenze, which I am butchering. I know that, and I apologize. It follows Italy's first serial killer. I know nothing about this case, but apparently this serial killer eluded police for decades. I don't know if he was active for all of those decades or if he had a specific time that he was very active and then just vanished, which is the case for a lot of serial killers do that. But it sounds super interesting. I'm assuming this will be in Italian, directed and produced in Italy, and will be looking at subtitles, which I'm fine with. Some people really find that frustrating, but I don't mind at all. On October 21st, we are getting Armed Only with a Camera on Crave. I'm in Canada, just so you know, so I'm not sure elsewhere in the world where you can watch this, but this is a documentary that I think is going to make me cry. It follows the life of documentary filmmaker Brent Renaud. He was an American journalist on the front lines in Ukraine, and he was killed in Ukraine. He and his brother both were journalists and went to some really dangerous places in the world. And the documentary itself is created by Brent's brother. So that's just going to be heartbreaking. We got our first horror movie recommendation, and that is October 22nd. We're getting The Elixir on Netflix. It's an Indonesian film, and it looks kind of funny. There is an elixir that unleashes the zombie apocalypse, basically, and we're following a family in a very small town trying to survive the outside world as well as those within the family who have become zombies. And the trailer looks honestly quite funny. On October 22nd, we're also getting another horror movie called Host. This is on Prime Video. So this is meant to be a supernatural film based on the legend of May Sue, which is a spirit said to protect newborn babies. We follow an exchange student experiencing suddenly horrific supernatural events. On October 23rd, we're getting A House of Dynamite on Netflix. This looks good. It is a movie that stars Idris Elba and is also directed by Kathleen Bigelow, who did The Hurt Locker. She directed The Hurt Locker. I think she won Best Director. If I'm not mistaken, she was the first female director to win Best Director. In any case, very exciting. This follows the scenario in which an unidentified missile is headed to the US, and they're trying to find out who sent it and what to do about it. After reading a whole book about nuclear war, I am nervous about watching this, but also so intrigued because I don't feel like enough people know just the chaos that would ensue if nuclear war broke out. Welcome to Derry is coming to Crave on October 26th, with I personally feel is a little too late in the month of October. To me, like, your Halloweeny movies, and in this case TV series, should come out early October, maybe even into September, because I get into the mood really early. Maybe I'm alone, but I do. So what I'm super excited about with this TV series is that it follows a timeline in the 60s surrounding the events of Stephen King's It, both the movies and then also the book, of course. I am hoping that they delve a little bit into some historical stuff, because the historical elements surrounding racism and homophobia in the book really were my favorite parts of the book. And how it's those things that are truly haunting the town, and it just happens to show up as this weird clown guy. I am very hopeful about this, but a little leery as well, so we'll see. On October 29th, we're getting the 9th season of Selling Sunset. I love some reality TV. I just adore it. And this is one of my favorites. Follows a bunch of ladies who sell real estate in California. Do they sell real estate actually? Who knows? But it's about the drama in their lives and the drama they have with one another. And I just adore it. There's a new series coming out on Apple on October 29th that looks really good and a bit different for Emma Thompson. She's doing a crime series. I don't think I've seen Emma Thompson in crime at all. Like, when I think of her, I think of obviously Love Actually, but also like Sense and Sensibility. I just think of those kinds of roles and not crime. So this is welcomed, I think, by me. This follows a private investigator who is, I think, hired by a town to find a missing child. An explosion goes off in the town, and I think since the explosion, this child has gone missing, not related to the explosion, as far as I know. I believe the private investigator is Miss Emma Thompson, and it's basically the premise of what happens when Sleepy Suburbia wakes up from a nightmare. So it stars Emma Thompson. It also stars Ruth Wilson, who is one of my favorite actresses. I love her so much. She was in Luther. I just think she's wonderful. And so this will be a British crime series that I will gobble up for sure. Also on October 29th, we're getting Aileen, Queen of the Serial Killers. This is a documentary, and it follows this female serial killer. And it really explores why she did these things, what her motives were, the trauma surrounding her background. I don't think this is meant to like erase the killings that she actually did, but more explain what was going on in her psyche. It apparently also interviews Aileen herself. I'm very curious about this. A little bit worried how they're going to set this up. As usual with true crime, you can exploit people, exploit victims, and focus so heavily on the serial killer or the killer themselves that the victims sometimes get pushed aside, and I don't like that when that happens. So I'm hopeful that this will be done tastefully. Another reality TV show is coming out on November 4th. It's Squid Game, The Challenge Season 2. I don't know if a lot of people watched Season 1, but it's based on the TV show Squid Games, and basically turns that into a reality show, which is kind of like against the whole point of Squid Games in a lot of ways, because it's really telling about it's a social commentary on economics. And I don't know if this is a good idea to have it be a reality show, but I really liked the first one. Judge me as you will, but I am personally excited about the second season. I think it will be fun. No one actually dies in this version, so that's a good thing. Then we've got a South Korean TV series coming out on Netflix called As You Stood By. It's coming out on November 6th. This follows friends who end up involved with murder. We have one friend who has experienced childhood abuse in her own life, and she is watching her friend enter a marriage in which domestic abuse is happening. And so she decides to take matters into her own hands and try to kill the husband. And I think they start working together on this. And it just sounds fantastic. This is, I think I mentioned South Korean. I usually really like South Korean dramas, especially when it surrounds this kind of crime where people's hearts are involved and stuff. I usually really enjoy them. So I'm really looking forward to this, especially because it's two women. Usually it's like a man and a woman. So I think this will be really good. On November 12th, we're getting the 4th season of Selling the OC, another reality TV show on Netflix. This also centers around reality TV stars who are also realtor agents. Are they actually selling houses? Again, like Selling Sunset, no one really knows. I don't really care. I'm just here for the drama all day, every day. Barry and I both enjoy these, so we will be snuggled up in the basement watching these over the course of a long weekend or something, I think. We've got a new Claire Danes show coming out November 12th called The Beast in Me. This is coming out on Netflix. This follows a woman who is an author. She's quite a famous author, but she has gone into hiding, a bit of a recluse since her young child died. She hasn't written since, but she suddenly has found some inspiration for writing her next novel when a new neighbor moves in next door. I don't know much more about it than that, and I don't need more. I think this is going to be fun. Last but not least, it probably needs no introduction, but Stranger Things, like the finale, series finale, season 5, is coming on Netflix, coming out November 25th. This will hopefully answer all of our questions, which are multiple. I've kind of not enjoyed the later seasons of Stranger Things. I loved it at the beginning, and then it just kind of fizzled out. But, you know, here's hoping that I'll get just sucked into it. So those are all of the movies, documentaries, TV shows that are on my radar for the rest of the fall. So let me know in the comments below if you are excited about any of these. Did I miss anything? I'd love to know, and I'll talk with you very soon. Goodbye.